and I'm always interested in how they got involved in law school. Did you always want to be a lawyer?
Yes. My mother's father was a lawyer, and I absolutely idolized him. So I knew in fourth grade that I wanted to be a lawyer. What I didn't know was what law really was like. I thought I was going to be the next Perry Mason, because that's what I grew up watching on. Maybe I'm dating myself. And he was a general practitioner, and so, but it didn't work out that way. But yes, I knew I always wanted to be a lawyer, and what I wind up doing in my practice is I wind up combining my passion and love for teaching with substantive knowledge of the law into one super niche practice, and that's what makes me tick. If I was doing traditional law work, perhaps like the kind that you do, I think I'd be miserable.
Well, again, everybody, we're going to talk about that in just a second, because I got to tell you that last week I had an attorney on, and he told me the same story, that he watched Perry Mason, and that's why he became an attorney. He loved to watch Perry Mason, and it had he became a litigator. But I understand, I'm not a litigator myself, and it's not right for everybody. But so you
no, sure isn't.
So what did you go to law school right out of college?
Yeah, that's pretty typical, as you know, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Most people go straight to law school from college. For those who are thinking about going to law school, who might be listening on the radio, I don't recommend that. I really recommend that you take 2 years off between college and law school. That way you know you can make it in the real world. You know you've seen what you can do. You know if law school washes out somehow or you don't like it, you have something you can fall back on. All the head games that go on in law school, you're kind of more immune to that because you know you've made it. So, but I went straight. I went straight for the first law degree. For my JD degree, I went straight. And then I did litigation for almost 3 years with a small high-end civil litigation firm in Chicago, downtown on LaSalle. I realized I hated litigation. And then I went back to school, got an LLM in health law, from DePaul, and then I wound up doing a variety of things after that. Well, so for the first law degree, I didn't take time off. For the second one, I did. There was some period of time before I got the second law degree.
So we're talking with attorney William Goren, who helps people with Americans with Disabilities cases. I have two sons, Attorney Goren, and both of my sons are in law school. And you kind of touched on this a little bit, but what kind of advice would you have besides and I think that's very good advice that you've already given. But what kind of advice would you have for kids that are in law school and people that are recently graduated from law school?
The first thing I would say is regardless of what you wind up doing, I wouldn't focus on area of law. I would focus on if there's something in your day-to-day existence doing that particular kind of law that you're passionate about. And there's got to be something. If there's nothing in your day-to-day existence that you're not passionate about, I think you're going to be miserable. That doesn't mean you have to be passionate about real estate law or health law or whatever, but maybe there's just some aspect of that particular area of the law that you could be really passionate about, and that is going to help. The second thing I would say is that law is becoming very much a specialty area. So if you have something about you that makes you unique, then you should really focus on that and use it for all it's worth. So if you're someone that has a history of blogging, or you have a history where you've been in the music business or whatever it is, I don't care what it is, you should really go with that. And I know there's a risk of saying, well, maybe I don't want to be what's obvious, but your passion and your experience and the expertise you have already, even if it's outside law, that's going to make you stand out compared to others.
I think that's very good advice. You know, you mentioned that you did some litigation. In my interviews with attorneys, I find that often whatever the job they had out of law school becomes their career.
Not me.
No, that wasn't you. So tell us a little bit about your litigation experience and why you decided to move away from that.
Well, I'm very grateful for the litigation experience. It was a firm that no longer exists. It was called Lewis G. Davidson and Associates. Lewis G. Davidson was one of the premier trial attorneys in the universe, and he had two sons that took over the practice, and I worked for John Davidson, and I was thrilled with what I learned from him. But litigators are an interesting personality. It's really about the fight. And if you win, that's great, and the client benefits, okay, that's nice, but it's about the fight. I am firmly convinced that if I was hiring for a law firm and I was a hiring partner for a law firm and we had a litigation practice, I think the best litigators should not be focused on whether you were law review or not. What I would be looking for is that person who's graduating law school, do they have a record of athletic excellence? Because the athletes are used to working in teams. They're used to pushing themselves up to the limit of the rules, and they want to win. And that's really the mentality of a litigator when you think about it. So that's who I would be hiring. I love sports, but I never really played it competitively outside of the high school tennis team. I am not a win-lose personality. Litigators are win-lose personality. And they lose, they go on, they win the next time. I just don't work that way. And I really don't even enjoy the whole process of trying to win. My personality is I want to educate. I'm an educator. I'm a teacher. I want to help people understand. That's not litigation. So I just through a variety of ways. I did a variety of different things, and in the end, when my wife got the job at CDC after 12 years of teaching full-time and always doing this Americans with Disabilities Act thing, no matter what I was doing, I just said, why not put the two together?
Well, I think that's great advice, and I think that's good insight about the athletic. I never heard that before, but it makes perfect sense.